Hello and welcome to the Wise Wolf Podcast. My name is August Moon. Some of you may know me as the Wolf of Tarot. For those of you that have been subscribed to this channel for quite some time, first off, I just want to say thank you for remaining with no content. It's taken me such a minute to finally launch this podcast. I was waiting for the right microphones and the right camera and the right stuff and the right people. And finally, I'm just like, you know what? Let's just play record and build as we go. And so that's what we're doing. Welcome to the very first episode. On this episode, since we're at the tail end of summer, I figured I would share some of the magic that I've learned in connecting and working specifically with mermaid and siren spirits. So let's talk about the difference between a mermaid and a siren. Sirens have been plagued to have the background of being dangerous, of being evil, of being a much more darker adaptation of a mer person, where mermaids are more alluring and ethereal and majestic and beautiful. In my opinion, both are beautiful in their own ways, and as much as sirens do get a bad rap for the darker side, not all are on that same agenda. They say that sirens are the vampires of the ocean, and that's not necessarily true, at least not innately true. On a recent trip that I took to Key Largo, I spent a lot of my time meditating and doing divination and working with siren and mermaid spirits. And I had a lot of stories that we exchanged, a lot of information that was exchanged. And one of the most interesting facts that was said to me was the myth of them kind of like siphoning energy off people. Now, is that a possibility? Is that something that can happen and become a pattern for a siren to do? Absolutely. We all have that ability to do that. Like we have narcissists, energy vampires, the same thing. If a siren was to choose that route, then yes, they would go more of the darker version of the siren. You would even see their appearances start to change or morph into something more grotesque or something more monstrous. This happens over a span of time. But innately, the ability to exchange energy with humans wasn't really just for taking energy from people. There was actually an exchange that was going on. So the human that was selected or chosen in that moment would also receive blessings or have a wish granted for them. Things such as like fame, fortune, true love, anything that the human wanted to call in would be granted to them. And for the merfolk, the more vitality or life force that the human had that they exchanged with, the better the benefits for them, enhancing their abilities. May it be with their voices, may it be with their tails, more fins, more agility, speed, endurance, magnification and amplification of their abilities. Again, this was a give and take situation between the two. So siphoning energy was really more of a choice. I would say that the more that a merfolk chose to take energy, the more that their abilities would change and go more down the left-hand path, if you were to say that for merfolk. But mermaids, the ones that are most ethereal, most beautiful, most enchanting, most alluring, those are the ones that have, for the most part, been even exchanging and blessing some of the humankind. However, in retrospect, there is such a thing as the mermaid giving too much of her energy to humankind and then therefore losing her abilities to return to the sea or losing her abilities just over a span of time. So it works in both ways. The more ashe, the more prana, the more life force that a human has, then the more benefits for the merfolk. So take, for example, you have Joe Schmo, who, works a regular job, doesn't really have a very thrilling life, isn't very muscular, doesn't really have a lot of activity going on in their life. They're just Joe Schmo. The energy exchange would be more beneficial for the human in this scenario, where the mermaid or the siren is not really getting much vitality in exchange from that person, as compared to someone that is a bit more strapping, a bit more bold in life, a bit more confident in who they are. Maybe they're very active, more muscular. Also, maybe perhaps they're gifted. They have talents. They can sing, they can draw, they can paint, they can dance. The more vitality and life force in the human, then the better the blessings for the merfolk. So it's a way of like really even exchanging. And I think also the thrill of the hunt is really getting, that one strapping, male, or perhaps that one gorgeous female. I will also say that the merfolk have shared with me that they're not necessarily innately male or female. They choose what form they wish to present themselves as. I will say divine feminine is the most common, but there is also masculine presenting merfolk as well. But when it comes to their actual their actual anatomy, it's not necessarily one or the other as human beings are. They're actually shifters. So what happens is they tend to shift and change and adjust to whatever the situation is. When it's merfolk to merfolk, they have a specific set of organs that they use to exchange and procreate with one another. But when it comes to human and merfolk, when they are doing energy exchange, which is more sensual in nature, usually what is happening is that the mermaid or the siren is choosing what form they wish to present as to be able to captivate that human. So for example, let's say the target was a beautiful female and the mermaid presents as female in the form that she chooses. The mermaid or siren would then shift into male form and then walk upon land, entice that female, energy exchange, and then they would part ways. Same with the male presenting merfolk or sirens. They as well would shift in between whatever their target desired. So let's say the life force and the vitality that they were seeking was from another male and it was a merman or a male siren. What would happen is that if this was a heterosexual male with that vitality and life force, the merman would shift into a more female presenting alluring representation to call in and draw in that masculine for the opportunity of energetic exchange. Now, if the desire was for same sex, then it'd be a win-win. They would stay in their masculine presenting form, they would get on land, they would connect, there would be energy exchange, and once again. But what I'm saying is that there really is no gender when it comes to the sirens and the mermaids. We say mermaids and mermen, and we say sirens, and mostly we see them as female, but they're really kind of neutral. So mermaids, mermen, sirens basically shift into whatever they need to do to appease the next possible prospect so they can achieve energetic exchange, or perhaps energy siphoning, just taking straight up. It really just depends on the characteristics and the heart of that mermaid, merman, siren. So I just had to clear that out the way because they were really adamant about sharing that about their nature. So that's number one. Let's talk about connecting with siren energy. Number one question that I see a lot of people saying is, can you only connect with siren energy in the summertime? No, you do not have to only wait every summer to connect with siren energy. However, I will say that that is when they are the most vibrant in the realm to be able to connect with. If you live by a body of water, then absolutely you have access to connect at any moment in time. If you have bonded with a specific siren, mermaid, merman spirit, you can continue to connect with them, perhaps maybe by retrieving some beach sand from a specific location where you first innately connected, or devoting perhaps a specific shell to them so that you can exchange and commune with as well. These are just some of the current shells that I've been working with. I also have a larger one that I've been working with for years. So attuning or consecrating specific items for that spirit to commune with you is going to be another way if you don't live next to a body of water. Water magic, water scrying is going to be a great way to commune with siren spirits. If you have a divination deck that is attuned specifically to siren energy, that would be, of course, great to have. A great deck I can recommend is Tarot of the Mermaids by Lo Scarabeo, which is a pretty cool deck. I've been working with this deck for a few years. Message of Mermaids, which is more of like an oracle deck. And then there's a new deck that actually just recently came out, which I really love because there's a lot of representation when it comes to people of color. And so we have Mermaids, Oracle Deck, and Guidebook, Wisdom, Insight, Enlightenment from the Legendary Creatures of the Sea. The artwork in this deck is so fun. So yeah, check those out. There's a plethora of other decks that are out there, I'm sure, but by simply attuning and devoting a specific deck to the siren spirit or the mermaid, merman spirit that you're working with is going to be a great way to connect as well. When you're communing also, if you can have, a bowl of water near you with some salt inside of it, that's great because now you have salt water. Also crystals. Crystals are going to be another great option for you to work with as well. Aquamarine, Larimar, Blue Apatite. Blue Apatite is really pretty, one of my favorites. Moonstone, Pearl, Abalone Shell, Amethyst, Labradorite, and Sodalite. These are a few crystals that you can implement into your practice to attune to siren spirits and siren energy. You can wear them during divination, wear them during meditation. And also one more stone that's my favorite stone to work with, especially with working with the sirens, is going to be sapphire. Natural blue raw sapphire. Sapphire offers us the mysteries of the ocean, hypnotic power of song, psychic death, and regal magnetism. This is actually one of my favorite stones when I'm connecting. I do have blue apatite and blue lace agate as well, but when it comes to my specific siren spirits that I work with, it's going to be sapphire. Find what resonates best with you in your practice. You don't need to purchase any of these things to connect with siren energy though, however. I will let you know that there are some really simple ways that you can start connecting right now. Some of the best ways are using your voice, humming, singing something along, especially when you're doing like your skin routine, your beauty routine, brushing your hair. All of these are beautiful ways to connect with siren energy. If you have this space in your bathroom, you can create like a little siren altar. That's where I keep most of my sirens. Put a few statues, a few shells. If you do happen to collect a bowl of sand from the beach, make sure you ask for permission. But you can even keep some of that sand on that altar in like a little container or something. You can place a candle inside the sand, light that candle for an offering, right? If you are visiting the beach, I would definitely say make sure you bring some type of offering. 7 pennies for the 7 oceans, jewelry, if you have something that you're no longer wearing that you're willing to sacrifice, or if you find something that you're willing to give, that would be amazing because they love shiny things. Fruits, flowers, berries, and oddly enough, expensive silks and things like that. They really tend to like, there's something about the silk and the way that it kind of moves within the water that they really, really like. So if you have a scarf or anything that is not too bulky, again, silk is kind of translucent. It's very light. So that's something that you can also give as an offering into the ocean if you wish. But again, elemental immersion is going to be the strongest way for you to connect. So you want to get out in nature. You want to get out by the ocean. You can also work with the tides, with the moon cycles, water rituals, splashing in the water. But before you even get inside the water, I would definitely do offerings first and then, have fun. Also, doing things such as mimicking the movements of a siren in dance or in flow is really beautiful as well. Just simply by sitting on the beach by the edge of the water and putting your feet together and just kind of fanning your feet as if you had a fin is really, really beautiful. They love that. They think it's very, very kind of like complimentary. So if you were to do motions like that, they would love, love, love to connect with you. But innately, everything that I'm recommending are just things that I've learned in my practice. Feel free to adjust or change whatever it is that you need so that you can make your connections. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Let me know if you're interested in connecting with siren energy. Feel free to leave comments on other topics that you'd like to see in future episodes. And make sure you're subscribing and following me on social media platforms. Until next time, wishing you guys abundance and balance. Thank you for watching, and please do not forget to like and subscribe for more magic.